Hey Pascal, this is Panther Nation. I'm Connor Hibbett here with Coach Shabay, varsity basketball coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks for being on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am in my second year here as the head boys basketball coach, and been coaching and teaching for 15 years. I've been several different schools, but my path led me here, and it's been a great experience, and I'm excited to be here leading the Pascal basketball team.
Where were you born?
I grew up locally and went to school here. I went to LD Bell High School, and then I went to Texas Wesleyan University and graduated from UTA in Arlington. So I've always lived right here in the Metroplex.
What did you play any sports when you were growing up and everything?
Yeah, as a kid, I played football, basketball, and baseball growing up, and then when I got into high school, I played just basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to really enjoy basketball, obviously, being a coach and everything. What do you think of the season so far?
We've had a great season so far. We are 18-9, which is much improved over last year, and so we are right in the thick of district into the playoff hunt. We're in third place right now. We have a big game coming up tomorrow night, Friday, against Martin, and they also are tied for third place. So to have meaningful games this late in the season has been fun and exciting, and we're hoping to continue winning so that we can maybe make the playoffs.
And you guys are coming off a fantastic win against Mansfield, 41-40. Tell us a little bit about that game and how you guys.
It was a very exciting game. The kids executed, played really, really hard, listened, and focused. We had a great atmosphere. We had a lot of people cheering for us. It was loud in there, and we were able to make the final stop, the last possession of the game, to win the game. So it was a fun one.
And speaking of playing defense, you guys actually gave up less points to that team than what North Crowley did, and North Crowley is first in the district. So
that's right.
Saying a lot about your defense. What makes this team different than the team last season?
Well, we have pretty much the same core group of guys, but I think we have a better belief in what we're doing, more confidence, I think, would be than anything else. Just understanding what we're supposed to do and having the confidence that we can pull it off and execute. And so with that has come success, which breeds more confidence, which breeds more success.
And maybe more experience as well to go with that, right?
Yes, we have 4 returning starters or guys that saw significant playing time this year. So there's no substitute for experience.
That's true. I heard you guys won a tournament earlier this season.
Yeah, we won the Sanger tournament. We went 4-0 in there and won that tournament. And then we were actually in the championship game and lost in the championship game to a team called Universal Academy in the Alito tournament over Christmas. So we've had a pretty good tournament season and a really good preseason.
Do you think there's any type of strategy that goes into a tournament, much less just a district game, or is it the same mindset? Like, maybe guys will not be as focused as much. I mean, what do you have to put into their heads?
Yeah, definitely district games are a whole new level. The focus, the attention to detail is completely different than anything before district. And so you're scouted quite a bit. The other coaches are watching film. They know the players' names. They know our plays. And vice versa, we know them just as well. So it really comes down to effort and execution when you're dealing with the district game versus, sometimes in the pre-district games, you just kind of walk out and play.
And speaking of walking out and play, some guys think they can just walk onto a team and start playing. But, I mean, what does it really take to be a good basketball player?
It takes a lot of time. It's a very, very difficult sport because not only do you have to have the athleticism to do it, you also have to have the skill. And so just because you're big, strong, and fast doesn't mean that it equates over onto a basketball court. And so it's a very difficult sport to play. There's a lot of sports out there that are very difficult, but basketball definitely is at the top or near the top in terms of just the difficulty and how hard it is to make the team, how hard it is to be successful, especially on the 6A level in our Metroplex. So the guys that are out there fighting and battling, we're definitely proud of them because of what they've put into it.
It definitely requires you to be in shape. A lot of sports don't require as much running as basketball, but basketball is running and jumping and everything like that. And like you were saying about being in a 6A like we are, but explain our district and how tough it is.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the toughest districts around. If you look at the records, if you look at who they've beaten in the pre-district and our teams that are in the district, it's definitely one of the more strong districts around. So for us to be where we're at and to compete like we have and win the games that we have, we're really proud of that and looking to continue to build on that.
And to continue to build on that, what kind of, I mean, you can't just give in and say, all right, we've done a good job. Okay, now, what's next? I mean, how do you look forward to the rest of the season? How do you keep the guys on that same intensity level?
Well, that part's pretty easy right now because of what we're playing for. Playing to get into the playoffs doesn't require much on my part. We all know how much we've sacrificed and how much we've given to it. And so they don't need any encouragement from me. They know what they have to do, and they know how important these next few games are. And they have, the last few games also, they have come out and just throughout all of district come out and competed hard and played, because that's fun. That's the fun part of it, is to play big, meaningful games, and then like on Tuesday night to win. That makes it all worth it. That's the fun part right there.
And would you say weeknight games are, all right, let's say Tuesday night games, would you say those are more difficult than Friday night games, considering that there's school the next day?
No, the games aren't. Wednesday mornings are more difficult. First period, second period is more difficult on Wednesdays than anything else. So Wednesday, we're all pretty dragging because even if you get home, it's hard to get wound down and go to sleep. So usually, I know for me especially, I don't get to bed until about midnight or 1 o'clock on Tuesday nights after games because it takes me that long to wind down.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to be able to coach those guys and keep them on the same level together and just do everything that you do. And I want to congratulate you on a great season so far. Do you have anything else that you would like to say?
No, thank you for having me. You guys do a great job, and hopefully I'll get a chance to be invited back.
Well, thanks for being on the show. I really enjoyed you. Well, that's all for Coach Matt Chabet of Boys Varsity Basketball. I'm Connor Hibbett, and this was the interview. Yes, Pascal basketball has done very well this year. They are 18-9 overall, 4-4 in district, tied with Lamar and Martin, and they're playing Martin tonight, so hopefully we can get a win. That would be great. Moving on to college basketball. We saw last night Purdue beat Michigan by 4. We saw Penn State upset Ohio State 82-79. That game was great. Ohio State came down, got a 9-0 run, and then Penn State hit a half-court shot. Basically a half-court shot. It wasn't quite a half-court shot, but it was a great shot off the backboard, and it was at Ohio State. The crowd was like shocked and everything. They were so excited after making that 9-0 run. 3 quick threes by Ohio State within 2 minutes of play, basically, and Penn State came down and hit a shot to really just take it out of Ohio State. They really just made that whole crowd go just silent. I mean, it was just, you could hear a pin drop after that. Should have seen the reaction by the Ohio State fans. It was kind of funny. Arizona won 80-71 against Colorado, so Arizona continues their win streak as Arizona State falls to 3-5 in conference, losing to Utah at home last night in overtime. St. Mary's keeps on rolling. Gonzaga got a win last night as well against Portland, but they're not a very good team, Portland, I mean. But we keep on seeing the rankings change a lot this year because of inconsistency by a lot of teams. But one thing that I've noticed as the season's progressed, especially in the month of January, right now it looks like there are 4 ultimate teams right now. Those teams being Villanova, Virginia, Purdue, and Duke. Villanova is at 19-1 overall. Virginia's also at 19-1. Purdue is now 20-2, and Duke at 18-2. All 4 of those teams have shown amazing consistency. The only weakness on any one of those teams, I would say, would be Duke's defense. Villanova is a very stout team. They don't allow teams to beat them at their game. They play very sound, fundamental basketball. Virginia, as we all know, plays very good defense, very difficult to score against, have only allowed more than 55 points a few times this season. Very impressive. Purdue, they can shoot threes and play defense, so I look for this team to make a run. They also have 2 guys that are 7 foot and above. I look for that to be a difference factor in the March Madness tournament. Duke, they have 5 future NBA players on their for starters. that play on the court. I look for these guys to improve and look to make a good run in the March Madness. As we know, Coach K is their coach, and he figures out a good way to get his team rolling. They usually keep players all the way to their senior year, but not lately. But I look for these guys to come back next year, and I look for Duke to be in the top 5, obviously, like they are every single year. But I look for them to be like that dominant team the next couple of years with these guys returning probably for their sophomore year. Some of them might leave, but I know some of them will come back. And they also have some really good guys on the bench. I think Duke's just going to keep on improving. They have a very young roster. They only have 2 juniors and 1 senior, that senior being Grayson Allen. Some of you might know that name. But I look for Duke to keep improving. I look for Purdue to use their size advantage. I think Purdue's an all-around good team. I think they're very balanced. I think Virginia's very good on the defensive end. But, when you look at other teams around the country, it's like, who is going to be that one team that's going to be like that upset team in March Madness? I got a few really good teams. Try Loyola Chicago. I think they might make the March Madness tournament. They beat Florida earlier this year at Florida. Florida's been inconsistent this year, just losing to South Carolina a few nights ago. But I really think that Loyola Chicago could make some noise in the March Madness. I also think Montana is another team that could do something outside of the Power Six. The Power Six, as we know, it's the ACC, the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the Pac-12. And then you might want to add the Big East in basketball because they got teams like Providence, DePaul, Butler, Villanova, Xavier, Creighton. Those guys are really good. But you look outside those 6 conferences, I really like Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Those 2 teams have always been some of the top in their conference, although their conference isn't very good. But another team I think that you should keep your eyes on, another 2 teams actually, Nevada is a very good team, as well as Rhode Island, and Rhode Island keeps their winning streak going. They only have 3 losses this year. All 3 of those losses are very good losses. So I really think those teams can make a run in the March Madness. Moving on to the NFL, as we know, the Super Bowl, what's new? It's New England, right? New England. And the Philadelphia Eagles. This is basically the best offense against the best defense. Tom Brady usually gets his way, but a lot of the guys in today's game, a lot of the defenses, they play zone defense, and so they can kind of get away sometimes against quarterbacks that don't really know how to read a defense. But that doesn't work against Tom Brady. What works against Tom Brady is blitzing and playing man coverage and really playing up on the receivers, not allowing any little quick slants and stick routes. And especially if you cover Gronkowski, you should do okay. But as we know, that's not a very easy task because it's tough for a cornerback or a safety that's smaller to match up with him. And it's really tough for a big linebacker to match up on him because he's also pretty fast and athletic and very agile, and it's really hard for those linebackers to be able to move like that, especially with the pass defense. They're usually the run stuffers. But Philadelphia's defense is very good. They've obviously had to step up their game with their quarterback getting hurt throughout the playoffs, but that doesn't really look like it's hurt them that much. They've looked like they've pretty much dominated. Their defense has really taken over. I think the defense will do a very good job against New England in the Super Bowl, but I expect a 17-14 type game. I think they'll really do a good job against Tom Brady. But I still see New England winning. I mean, why would you go against New England? They're like the Alabama of the NFL. But it's going to be a close game, and I say the Philadelphia defense does a very good job. But I say New England wins 17-14. Very similar like game to when they played New York several years ago in the Super Bowl, and New York upset New England. Except I think you're going to see a reverse in the winner of this game. I think you'll see New England pull out a low-scoring, tough-fought game against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, and that will be it for this episode of Panther Nation. For now, I'm Connor Hibbett. Again, no Gage Laswell this week, but hopefully he'll be in next week. But for now, I'm Connor Hibbett. This is Panther Nation, and I will see you next week.